Good morning, friends, and welcome to Trans India Real People, Real Emotions. We have all seen, read, and heard about the lives of truck drivers in India. The pathetic working conditions and treatment meted out to truck drivers in India is amongst the leading causes of driver shortage in India. However, driver shortage is not restricted just to India. It is now a global phenomenon. But what is the life of a truck or a coach driver in countries or continents like Europe? We were on a very luxury cruise for 15 days from Southampton in London, covering Spain, Morocco, and Portugal. During the cruise, I bumped into a very classy and smartly dressed gentleman named Wilhelmus Tulling, who we called Will. Will was sipping his scotch on the rocks at the bar, and we got talking. I must admit that my first impression of Will was that he was a fashion designer, probably from Italy. But Will turned out to be from Netherlands. What was furthermore surprising was that Will happened to be a truck driver, now carrying pharma goods in a reefer truck between Netherlands and the United Kingdom. Can anyone imagine an Indian truck driver enjoying a luxurious cruise vacation? Forget about that. Can someone even imagine a truck driver having a decent meal in a decent restaurant in India? But that's the life of truck drivers in Europe. Will is now 72 years and still driving. While he started working at the age of 15, he has been driving since the age of 18. What's more important is that the government is taking care of Will through pension. What is more interesting is that Will gets a pension every month from the government besides working, which gives him the option of taking leaves and holidays on a regular basis. So let's know more about what the life of a truck and a coach driver is in Europe. Here's a very exclusive interaction with Wilhelmus Tulling on board the MSC Virtuosa, somewhere in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. So Will, you've been driving for how long now?
I'm driving since I was 18. Then I got my driver's license and I start driving.
And how old are you now?
I'm now 72.
So that's been a journey of
54 years.
54 years.
Yeah.
But you weren't a driver when you started your career. You started before that.
No, I was start working when I was 15. And then I start working by the Holland-America line. Okay. First on freight ships, and after that on passenger ship. Mm-hmm. And we do the lining from Rotterdam to New York.
Okay.
Yeah, we sail from Rotterdam to Southampton, Le Havre in France, then to Cove in Ireland, and then we go to New York.
Okay. So what brought you to truck driving? How did that happen?
How did that happen? Yeah, well, it started when I had to go in the army.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to go in the army for my number, but I found out that I was not having any papers from school, so I signed for 5 years in the army, and that's where I started to drive. Uh-huh. And I was a driver in the army from 72 until 77 for 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I drive we call it a panzerwagen. But a panzer, it was a big ambulance.
Okay.
From the front, where we take the wounded soldiers to the hospital.
Okay. Okay. And you did this for how long? For five
years, yeah.
And after that?
After that, I became a bus driver.
Okay.
By Arriva in the Netherlands. It started with BBA, this is a small family company. Mm-hmm. in the south of the Netherlands, and then I got a bus driver, and I only do the line from one city to another city. Mm-hmm. and back, and that's what I start to do, and that's what I do for 42 years. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And Will, how easy or how difficult was it getting a driver's license? You had to go through a rigorous training program. How was it?
Yeah, that was in the army, and yeah, this was Difficult, yeah. I start learning to drive. My first car, what I drive, was a big truck from the army, and that's where I learned to drive. And when I got my license for a big truck, a bus, but also for small cars.
And there was intensive training involved in all of this?
That was a training for normally for 2 months.
Okay.
But I got my license in 10 days.
How was that?
I think I was a good driver.
And tell me, from what we've heard is that when you go to learn to drive as well as when you get a license, it's quite an expensive process. You have to pay a lot of money towards training fees.
Normally you have to, but
not in the army.
Not in the army. In the army, it's all for free.
Right. So otherwise, a driver would have to pay a good amount of money.
Yeah. In the Netherlands, it is they have to pay. My grandchildren at the moment was taking driver's lessons, and they pay around 55 euro per hour.
And how many hours of training is required?
Most of the time they had to take 20, 25, 30 hours.
Oh, that's a good amount of.
And then you have to pay for the exam.
Okay.
You got 2 exams. You got the practical exam and the theoretical exam.
Okay. So all put together, what would be the expense to get a driving
altogether
license?
when they succeed the first time, it's gonna cost around 3,000-4,000 euro.
Oh my God. And plus you really have to train hard.
Yeah. But you have to do the test in one time, and when you're not succeeded, you have to take another lesson, a couple of lessons, and you have to pay again for the exam.
Costs go up accordingly.
Yeah. So then it could be cost around 7,000-8,000 euro.
My goodness. So Phil, you've been driving for so long now.
Yeah.
What major changes have you seen in terms of the road infrastructure, the facilities for drivers? How much has that changed?
The biggest change is the traffic. It's very crowded. A lot of trucks, but also how do you say it? A lot of people are very aggressive in the It depends on where you're driving. I'm driving through all Europe, and when you drive in France or you drive in Germany, the people are very aggressive.
Oh.
Yeah. When you drive in England or Scotland, where I also drive, or in Spain, people are very more relaxed.
So how many countries have you driven across? All of Europe?
And all of the Mid and South Europe. I don't go to Eastern Europe.
Okay.
No, but I go to Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark, England, Scotland, Ireland, Spain, Italy, Portugal.
And you've driven trucks as well as buses?
It's not a big truck. It's a small truck, and I'm driving medicine all over Europe. So
okay.
Yeah.
We will continue our interaction with Will after this very short break. You are watching Trans India, real people, real emotions.
स्कूल बच्चों का दूसरा घर होता है, और इस घर का ख्याल रखना एक प्रिंसिपल के लिए आसान नहीं। पढ़ाई के साथ बच्चों का आराम, उनकी सेफ्टी, छोटी से छोटी चीज़ मेरी प्रायोरिटी है। वैसे ही स्कूल बस चुनना भी एक बहुत बड़ा डिसीजन था। पेरेंट्स का पीस ऑफ माइंड, मैनेजमेंट का भरोसा और बजट साथ लिए चलना पड़ता है। इसीलिए कभी कभी फर्म भी बनना पड़ता है। आखिर कोई अपने बच्चों की जिम्मेदारी मुझे दे रहा है तो कोई बजट की। लेकिन इतने सालों में एक चीज़ समझ आई है, अगर सही डिसीजन लें तो सबसे ज़्यादा प्यार भी प्रिंसिपल को ही मिलता है।
चुनिए महिंद्रा क्रूजियर स्कूल बसेस। यह है मजबूत ट्यूबुलर स्ट्रक्चर, एंटी लॉक ब्रेकिंग, एंटी रोल बार, पैराबोलिक सस्पेंशन, IMAX, वाइडर सीट्स और बेस्ट इन क्लास माइलेज के साथ बच्चों के लिए सेफ और बाकी सबके लिए सबसे स्मार्ट चॉइस महिंद्रा क्रूजियो स्कूल बस।
Welcome back to Trans India. Real people, real emotions. We are in conversation with Wilhelmus Tulling, a coach and truck driver from Europe on board the luxury cruise liner MSC Virtuosa. So tell me, Will, when you cross country borders, is there any formality involved or you just drive through?
In Europe, not only in Switzerland and from Europe to England.
Okay.
That's some formalities, but that's because England is going out of the
EU.
Of the EU. Yeah.
Okay. But there's no harassment or no delays as such. It just happens.
No. I can drive to Denmark, and I don't need to stop for the border.
Okay.
All the way at the moment, the German custom is going to check on a lot of border
Okay.
for the crossings. Yeah.
But does it take a lot of time or it's quick?
No, it's quick.
It's quick.
Yeah.
That's something not what we are used to. So
Yeah.
it's questioning time.
Yeah. Well, normally we don't have. The only thing when you go to when I go to Italy and I go through Switzerland, I have to declare in and I have to declare out,
Okay.
and that costs a lot of time. So for the time and the money, it's better to drive over Austria.
Okay.
Yeah, you take a big
A longer
time,
route.
a longer,
but yeah.
longer road, but it's cheaper
Okay.
and quicker.
And Will, what kind of facilities do you have on your motorways for taking a rest or taking a break?
Well, that also depends on the country, but at most of the countries we have service stations with food, with shower, with hotel. You can take a hotel room on some service stations, and you can take a shower on most of the service stations. And yeah, it is really good. It's working good for the lorry drivers and drivers like me. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, how much have the vehicles changed? You know, I mean, you've been driving for the last 50 plus years now. The vehicle technology has changed. Vehicles have become more comfortable, easier to drive. Do you feel that shift?
Oh yeah. The only thing what I miss is reading a map and find out how to come anywhere by looking for yourself.
Right.
Now you put your phone there, you press the town that you want to go to, and
It takes you right there.
yeah, and that's also what I miss is the communication with the other people then.
Stopping and asking for directions.
That's it's now you take your phone and you have
That human touch is really gone.
it's gone. Yeah, and I'm still doing it. I use the map also.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I have to do that because
wonderful.
it's for my brain to stay healthy.
And I don't know, reading a map has its own fun, you know.
Yeah.
By simply following Google blindly, we've often seen we've ended up at the wrong place also.
Yeah.
That's also happened.
Yeah.
So a map is more reliable as well.
Yeah, with the map on the phone, you put in an address, but not all the addresses they know. So you have to search for yourself.
Right.
And I love to do that.
Well, we've been talking to a lot of people across Europe as well, and Europe is also facing a shortage of drivers.
Yeah.
Coach drivers, bus drivers, truck drivers.
Yeah.
What do you think are the main reasons for this? Because it's a well-paying job.
Yeah, it is. But at the moment, the young people are having more fun to work with the telephone, go on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, and they get paid for it. So they want to become a bus driver, but I only want to drive on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And in the week, it's not possible. When you're a bus driver in the Netherlands for what I done, you go from one city to another. I don't know how you call it in English, but I transport people from one city to another city.
Right.
They pay for a couple of stops. That is a work that we do from the morning 5:30 until the night 1:30.
Oh.
So there is different kinds of stops for me to work. I can take the early shift, the afternoon shift, and the late shift.
Okay.
But we also have broken shifts. So you work in the morning 4 hours, and you work in the evening 4 hours.
Okay.
So, and then normally in a week you only work 40 hours, but it's you work on Sunday.
You can break it the way you want to.
Yeah. And you work on Sunday, Monday, Saturday, but also on the holidays with Christmas, Easter.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we'll having driven for so long, what kind of social security does the government give you? End of the day, I mean, once you retire.
With my job on the bus driving, the social security is we get a pension, a good pension. We got paid from the government. We call it AOW. It's elderly pension, but we have paid there when you work a month. Your boss is paying to the pension, and I am paying to the pension, and that you
accumulate that amount. Yeah. Okay.
So when I was 66, I went with my pension then. Then I sat home for 3 months.
Okay.
Watching television 5 days a week. I said, this is not right. So I start working again.
So, well, 72 now, and you're still driving.
I'm still driving. I'm still working. Yeah.
Till when do you plan to do this? When do you eventually take a retirement?
When the government said it's not allowed anymore to drive.
So currently, what are the rules? You can drive till whatever age you want.
I get a medical check every year.
Okay.
When you are older than 75, you get a medical check every year. And when the medical check is not good, you can't drive anymore.
Okay.
So then the government said, stop. And I'm still driving. My tests are still good. So
what route are you driving currently?
What?
What routes are you driving currently?
At the moment?
Yeah.
Most of the time I go to England and Italy.
And those trips usually are for how many days?
3 days, 4 days.
Going and coming back.
Yeah.
And you're transporting medicines in the reefer trucks.
Yeah.
Wonderful, Will. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay,
it was
you're
lovely
welcome.
talking to you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
That was our interaction with Will. We can clearly see the difference between the working conditions of truck drivers in Europe and in India. They are trained well, paid well, have adequate facilities, and lead a respectable life, unlike the Indian truck drivers who lack in all the above aspects. Naturally, this is one of the key reasons for driver shortage in India. We hope that India as a country starts recognizing the efforts and contribution of truck drivers. It was a delight talking to Will, not just during the interview, but also otherwise, where he shared stories about his trips and also gave insights into his collection of whiskies. We will be back with you next week with yet another very interesting interaction. Until then, remember to stay safe and drive safe. You have been watching Trans India, Real People, Real Emotions. Jai Hind.